feeling when January 1st hits and you're sitting there with a brand new budget, every dollar perfectly planned, every category color-coded, and you're thinking, this time it's actually going to work. And then February shows up. That perfect spreadsheet is collecting dust while your credit card is doing things that would make your January self sick. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you about why this keeps happening. And I promise it has absolutely nothing to do with discipline, willpower, or how smart you are. My name is Nick. I spend way too much time studying money and behavioral psychology, specifically why intelligent people keep making the same financial mistakes over and over. If this changes how you think about budgeting, hit subscribe and drop a thumbs up. Now, let me ask you something. When your last budget fell apart, what did you tell yourself was the reason? Most people say, I wasn't disciplined enough. Life got in the way. An unexpected expense came up. Maybe you blamed your income. Maybe your partner. Here's the truth. Every single one of those explanations is wrong. Not partially wrong, completely wrong. The real reason your budget failed has everything to do with how your brain is wired and how traditional budgeting works directly against that wiring. Let's start with the fresh start effect. Psychologists discovered that people are dramatically more likely to pursue goals at the beginning of new time periods. January 1st, the first of the month, Monday morning. These dates feel like clean slates, like the old version of you gets left behind and a better version steps forward. And here's the thing. That motivation is completely real. It's not fake. The problem isn't the motivation itself. The problem is that motivation is the wrong fuel entirely. Motivation is like lighter fluid. Burns hot, starts fast, but it doesn't keep a fire going through the night. You need actual wood for that. Most people build their entire budget on lighter fluid, then wonder why everything goes cold by week 3. Now here's the part most financial content completely skips. There's a concept called ego depletion, and it's probably the single biggest reason your budget collapsed. Every decision you make throughout the day, what to eat, what to wear, how to answer, that annoying email pulls from the same limited pool of mental energy, and willpower draws from that exact same pool. So by the time you're in the grocery store at 6:30 p.m. after a full day of work and meetings, your willpower is basically empty, and that's the exact moment your budget needs you to be strong. That's not a discipline problem. That's a math problem. You're asking your brain to run at 100% with maybe 15% of its energy left. Your brain isn't broken. Your strategy is. Now here's what will really surprise you. Traditional budgeting is designed in a way that almost guarantees failure. Most budgets run on a restriction model. You look at your spending, find the bad categories, and cut them hard. No more eating out. No more impulse buys. No more random subscriptions. For about 2 weeks, it works. But your brain doesn't experience those restrictions as discipline. It experiences them as deprivation. And deprivation triggers something called reactance. The moment your freedom feels threatened, you want the forbidden thing even more than before. This is why strict dieters think about food constantly. This is why the budget that bans all eating out somehow leads to a $200 restaurant weekend by day 18. You didn't fail because you're weak. You failed because your brain ran its standard programming that's thousands of years old and has zero interest in your spreadsheet. But here's the good news. Once you understand why budgets fail, fixing it becomes almost embarrassingly simple. The solution isn't more discipline. It isn't a better spreadsheet. The solution is removing decisions entirely. The most financially successful people don't white-knuckle their way through temptation. They build systems where the right behavior happens automatically. Instead of deciding each month whether to save, automate it. The moment your paycheck hits, money moves before your brain even knows it existed. You can't spend what you never see. Instead of tracking every dollar manually, which burns through your mental energy, fast set up tools that do the tracking for you. This is the difference between a diet and a lifestyle. Diets require constant willpower. Lifestyles just need a good setup, and then almost nothing after that. But there's one more reason budgets fail that almost nobody talks about. Most budgets are built around punishment, not identity. When you sit down to budget, you're basically looking at your past spending and labeling it bad. Too much here, way too much there. You're not building a plan. You're building a case against yourself. People who actually stick to financial plans long term don't think of themselves as trying to get better with money. They think of themselves as people who are already good with money. Present tense. Right now. That identity shift changes everything. When you see yourself as someone who's good with money, skipping an impulse purchase isn't a sacrifice. It's just what someone like you does. Here's the last piece. Research shows the #1 predictor of financial success isn't income. It's not even savings rate. It's consistency over time. Not perfection, consistency. A budget followed at 70% for 3 years beats a perfect budget abandoned after 23 days every single time. So build forgiveness into the system from day one. Expect to be human. Flexibility isn't a loophole, it's a feature. Because a budget built for reality will always beat a budget that demands perfection. The people who are best with money aren't thinking about money constantly. They built systems that let them think about it the least. They automated the boring stuff. They built identity instead of rules. They chose consistency over intensity. Your budget didn't fail because you failed. It failed because it was built on the wrong foundation. Build the right foundation, and this time, February won't stand a chance. If this changed how you see budgeting, hit like and subscribe. Every week we break down the real psychology behind money in a way that actually sticks.